Hello everyone, my name is Jesse and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be reviewing the entire Chaos Army set. So this is from Arc 1 of Mechtanium Surge. We're looking at all the villains here. I decided to not include Krakenoid here just because I've already covered him in the villains section of this series. And I feel like he kind of fits there better than he would with just the Chaos Army. So I might throw him in at the end. I'm not going to put him in like this. I would put him in the center here, but I've already covered him, and so I feel like this would be better focused on each of the 6 attributes instead, and also save us all a little time. So if you want to see Krakenoid here, you can go and check him out in that. I'll throw a link down in the description so you can go and watch that if you want to after this video. But we're going to be covering strictly the entire Chaos Army set and talking about them all individually. So let's jump into that. A couple quick things I want to mention. I'm not going to be showcasing Mechtanium or even the Bakugan. I'll pop pictures of them up as I talk about them, but I will not be physically including them because I don't have all the Mechtanium. I don't feel a need to collect all the Mechtanium. They're just not something I want to collect. As well as the Bakugan, the only one I could realistically get is Bolcanon's Hyperpulsar. It's the only one that's readily available. Everything else is either not made or it was only factory, made, and so you can only really get it super rarely. They were never officially released, so they're not really, readily available for us to get. So I'll pop pictures of them up and all that and talk about them, but I'm not going to be physically showing them because I could not physically get them all. Anyways, let's go for it. And for today's video, we're going to be using this Krakenoid card. It features Krakenoid. It says Krakenoid gets 100 plus G power for each Mechtanium in a used pile. Best for Chaos here, and then Aquas, which is super interesting, but I have both of those Bakugan, so it would work for me super well. But I like it's featuring Krakenoid here. It's a cool little piece of art, so that's what we're going to be using to open the Bakugan. Alrighty, and our first one up on the list is Darkest Horridian. I really like this Bakugan. It's one of the rarer ones to get, the one that's harder to find. Mine is not the die-cast version, it's the plastic version. Apparently, people claim there are some die-cast versions out there. Internet says otherwise. The Bakugan DB says there's, nothing yet. But if you have a die-cast one, let me know because we need to update that. But yeah, so apparently there can be die-cast, but, there's no telling. I just know this is the plastic version, and I opened it from a fresh pack, so it's pack fresh. Let's take a look here quickly. It's got a very generic Mechtanium Surge color scheme of black and silver, which is pretty nice. I do like how this looks. Darkest symbol there, got the MG right there with the code and all that. But yeah, let's go ahead and open Horridian super quickly. So actually I might try and roll him. Let's try and get him to go. Ah, nice. Okay. So, Horridian's got a couple manual pieces, not anything crazy, it's really just the horns here, his ears, I don't know what you call them, I guess they're his ears, and then the feet come out like this, and we have Horridian. So I'm gonna put him here, and then also throw up some images while I talk about him. So first off, his Bakugan is Aeroblaze. And it's kind of goofy. It just sort of turns him into this flying machine gun. It just gives him more of an ability. He can technically fly even though he doesn't have wings. But this just lets him fly more. He turns into a flying machine gun jet type of Bakugan. And then his Mechtanium here is just smashy on. I like Horridian. I think he's a cool Bakugan. I like the idea of a Cerberus, which is a Greek mythology underworld dog that guards the underworld. And I think that's really cool because I like when we have Bakugan that kind of play off of different cultures and all that. I think they're unique, and I'll get into that more with Spyron as well. But he's definitely not one of my favorite designs overall, especially the monster form. It's okay. It's not the worst in the world, but it's also not my favorite. But he does have a really cool ability, which is his ability to split into 3 different Bakugan. So it cuts his power into thirds, but there's 3 on the field instead of just 1. And I think that's super neat. And a really awesome gimmick to have. And then the rest of his abilities, all of his shooting out of the mouth abilities, just remind me a lot of Alpha Hydronoids. They're very similar, where all 3 of them will shoot the same dark energy beam, and that's that's pretty much it. So, other than that, I think he's cool. The G power on Horridian, at least for mine, is in a really weird spot. It is underneath like the chest, and it's packed fresh, so I never took it off. If I can find what the G power is supposed to be, I'll put it on the screen somewhere, but yeah, mine's blocked off. I don't really feel like taking it off. I kind of like having it there. It just keeps it more mint condition. But yeah, let's go ahead and close Horridian up. So feet go in, ears go down back into the head, and then his back kind of locks in. And then all you've got to do is line his other two heads up with his main head right here. And then arms will go in to kind of hold those small heads stable. And then you just have the tail in the back that kind of locks in everything else. It might take a little fidgeting, but there you go. And that's pretty much all there is to Darkest Horridian. Alrighty, and up next is probably my favorite Bakugan of the lot. This is Aquos Krakenoid, and wow, he looks good. I've talked about him in another video, but I really like the design of Krakenoid. I have a Chaos one sitting in my computer right now, but the Aquos obviously is the native attribute, and it just looks pretty. It just looks good. This is also a non-diecast, so it's just plastic, but that doesn't bother me. But yeah, let's go ahead and open Krakenoid up, because I have a lot to say about him. Boom. Okay, easy open. Krakenoid's got another couple manual bits. So first off, the horn and the head comes up. He's got two little claws on his feet that pop out like so, and then in the back he's got a little tail piece. And yeah, here's Krakenoid. He is sitting at 900 Gs, so all the Mechtanium Surge Bakugan get a ton of extra power here. And I mean, yeah, it's just really, really, really cool. So Krakenoid's partner is Jack, but it's weird because I guess I forgot to mention, because with Horridian, it's technically Anubius's partner, but Anubius kind of owns Krakenoid, Horridian, and Bolcanon. It's super weird how it works. Yeah, so Krakenoid's Jack's, like Jack uses him the most, but eventually like Anubius uses them all. It's really weird. He just like lends them out to people to battle with. So I'm gonna say Jack, but Anubius is like the main owner of them all. But his gear is Jam Saber, which goes on his back, and it kind of just throws these saw blades out. It's pretty cool looking. I would like to see some of the like 3D printed ones come out, like 3D printed Nano, because we didn't really get these, so I think they would be easy to design, and not easy to design, but you know, possible to design and print. I think that would be neat. And then his Mechtagain is Vertexx, so I'll throw a picture of that up. But yeah, like I mentioned earlier, it's one of my overall favorite Bakugan designs. I just like how he looks. He's got like noodle arms, and he's just like a silly looking Bakugan, but also can be really intimidating. Like literally one of my first Bakugan I ever bought forever ago was a Chaos one, just because I liked how the Chaos and the metal looked together. This is also a Bakugan that can turn into a mutant. So Mutant Krowll and Mutant Krakenoid can like split and divide and all that, similar to the other mutants. I've debated getting these. I don't know if they're worth it. Mutant Krakenoid is easy, but Mutant Krowll is not, and I'll talk about that with Krowll. So maybe like a painted version would be worth it. I don't know. The Mechtanium Surge are just hard to collect. But he does have this really cool camouflage ability, which kind of, it's just kind of, he goes invisible, similar to one of Preus's abilities, where he can just turn invisible. I think it was Bloom or Blue something, I don't remember. But Krakenoid has a very similar one. He can also like split into multiple, so it's like double team from Pokemon. But yeah, he's got a cool camouflage ability that lets him like kind of hide and get into his opponent's like defense. But yeah, so let's close Krakenoid. So horn goes in, feet go up. These can close, and then the tail on the back closes. And then we have Krakenoid just kind of closing with his noodle arms, and then his wings fix everything else, closing it all nice and tightly. So pretty easy Bakugan to close, and again, just a really amazing design. And now the last of Anubius's team, we have Pyrus Bolcanon. And let me tell you, Bolcanon is a unique Bakugan but mine has seen the worst of it. He is absolutely beat up. I overpaid. It was just, my Bolcanon's a mess, to say the least. The metal's scuffed. He is heavy metal, but the metal is very beat up. Yeah, he's just seen a lot of better days. And he's also got a lot of manual parts. And he's also got a really cool gimmick. So let's see if I can get him to do his gimmick. I should be able to. There we go. Cool. So yeah, Bolcanon, as you can see, spins. And I think that's super cool because it follows the anime and all that. But yeah, let's look at his manual part. So he's got this piece here, and then the back piece here. And then lastly, his head kind of can poke out a bit more. Let's see if I can get it out. There we go. So his head pokes out just a little bit more. Also at 900 Gs, which I think is interesting. So same as Krakenoid there. But yeah, so let's talk about Bolcanon. Pull him to the side here. He's got some big old wide arms and he's moving. Yeah, so Bolcanon's partner, he's used by Ben and Robin in the show a lot. Obviously, Anubius is there too, but Ben and Robin are the main ones. He has one of the coolest battle gear ever, which is Hyperpulsar. Basically, it shoots up into the sky. It acts like a satellite weapon, so it's up in the air and it shoots stuff down from the sky. I think that's possibly one of the coolest battle gear ever. And it's really the only one that's like readily accessible, so maybe it's worth getting. Maybe. In terms of like cool features, obviously he's got the spinning gimmick. You know, I really, really like that. He's also technically one of the heaviest Bakugan because of his die cast and all the metal on his body right here. He is technically one of the heaviest Bakugan. His monster form reminds me a lot of Fear Ripper. I think you could look at their monster form and be like, oh yeah, Fear Ripper just evolved into Bolcanon. And then in terms of the show, his like fighting style, he's a very fast hitter. So it's a lot of like quick strikes and then he disappears. So he's stealthy. But like, especially in that, I think it's the first battle we see him in. It's a lot of like quick jabs to Drago and then disappearing, which is a unique fighting style for sure. Yeah, mine's super beat up. The tabs were broken. I had to put like super glue there just to keep them up. I mean, it was a mess. I mean, he's just so beat up, and I overpaid. It was just not great, but he's in the collection, so yeah. And then Bolcanon's possibly one of the hardest Bakugan to close. It took me a long time to figure out what to do. So I'm going to teach you here all today. So first off, let's close his manual pieces so we get his head back into place. And then these parts of the wings or hands, or whatever you want to call them, go in. And so here's the trick. So he's got a tab on the back of him that causes the spinning gimmick. We need to close that. So we'll close that completely. Spin Bolcanon around, so keeping that tab closed. We'll spin him around and kind of push him down and seat him. And then we need to take his silver tabs here, push those down to lock those into place, and then lift his hand up. It's very complicated. And then you just do that to the other side to lock his head in and then the rest of his body. And you do that. I gotta do mine carefully because he's so broken. Let's see here. Did I get him? Yes. Okay. And that is Pyrus Bolcanon. Pretty cool, unique Bakugan. Great one to have in a collection. Okay, and here we have Ventus Spyron. We're going to go on to Team Cellon now and take a look at another really, really cool Bakugan. And I'm glad this one's more available than the other ones because this one's definitely a cool one, especially in this show. So here it is in ball form here. Not really anything super special. Just kind of, you know, green on metallic silver like all the other ones, but let's go ahead and open him up, see if I can get a nice spin or roll. Maybe not. Okay, well, close enough. So Spyron's got a couple manual bits, probably more than a lot of them. So feet go down, these little wing hand things go down, and then he's got two little tabs on the side here that also pop right out, and that is most of him. There we go. And then 830 Gs right there. So weaker than the other ones I have. But this is Spyron, so let's talk about him. So I really like Spyron. So Spyron's main partner is Cellon. Cellon uses him the most of all the other ones. And his battle gear is Dafterix, which is kind of like, it just kind of shoots electricity. It's kind of hard to explain. It just sort of shoots like a big beam of light after it's like put on all fours, and it shoots different light and connects into one beam that hits a Bakugan or an enemy or whatever. And then his Mechtanium is Braxion. Overall thoughts, I think it's cool we have like another mythological Bakugan. We have this one, of course, being from Egyptian culture, kind of mimicking those Egyptian gods there, which I think is super cool. And I think that this particular Bakugan, I don't believe they made in Subterra, but imagine a custom paint of a Subterra Spyron with like gold and blue accents. That would be so sick. So that might be something I do in the future. I'm not sure, but I think that would be so cool to see. I really like Spyron's abilities too. So one of them, one of the first ones we actually see is when Spyron and Vertexx are battling some of the battle brawlers, and Vertexx like pretty much gets taken out immediately, and Spyron just resurrects him. I think that, like, especially when it's mimicked off Egyptian culture, I think that is so cool to see. And so just seeing that teammate be revived is really impressive, and just really, it's a really cool ability. And then my favorite ability, I'm not sure if not all of his abilities do this, but he's got one called Ancient Gravity, and it's like a negative Ventus move. So it's like a big ball that lands on him, it crashes on the Bakugan, and it's like green on the outside, but like a really dark green black on the inside, so like a negative. And that to me is a really, really cool ability that Spyron has. I really like that. But yeah, let's close Spyron. So that goes in, hands go up, that hand wing thing goes up, and then the tail can close. You can close the tail or not. I don't think it'll affect too many stuff. It might pop out later, but the hardest part is actually closing him. And so to do that, because it's just weird, you have to like push him down, so his head will go in. You have to like push on this. It's kind of scary, but yeah, you push on that, and then the wings can close, and then the feet go in. Boom, there you go. Sometimes the tail will pop out, it just depends, but that's pretty much how you close Spyron. You just can't be afraid to mash down on that. I don't like doing that, but sometimes it's what you've got to do. So yeah, that is Ventus Spyron. And now we're on to Chaos Krowll. And this is a recast. If you've seen my most recent video, this is a recast that I hired someone to make, but it is very accurate. But you can watch that video to explain everything about it. This is strictly for a review. So we're going to be taking a look at Chaos Krowll here. I do like the design of this Bakugan. Whoa, my light is not liking the chaosness, I guess, the color of this, because it's turning darker. But I do like the design on the top of Krowll. I think it's really cool. This isn't die cast either. This is just regular plastic. Chaos symbol there and all that good stuff. But yeah, let's go ahead and roll Krowll out. So I'll put him in the distance here, get it to focus, and boom. So that's Krowll. Krowll has a couple manual bits. Let's go over those. Wow, actually one of them popped open already. So yeah, that's one part of the manual, and then that's the other foot there. I gotta be careful because mine snapped off right here. So, whoop. Oh, he's got a strong magnet. Okay, and so the feet here come out, and I need to be very careful. This one I had to fix. It's actually a little loose, but it does pretty much do the job. And that is Krowll. So let's go ahead and talk about Krowll. Cool design, in my opinion. I really like Krowll's design. I think it's one of the best designs we've got. It just looks good. Like, it looks so good. The design's good. Everything about it's really cool. Krowll's partner, for the most part, is Soon. Soon uses Krowll the most. And then the Baku Nano is Slicerix, which kind of just gives Krowll big claws. They can also sort of shoot electricity or light out in, like, as a hand and grab Bakugan. But they're mainly used as like cool slicing claws. And then the Mechtanium is Miseract. Overall thoughts, it's a spider-like Bakugan. I don't know if it's necessarily a spider or a crab, but it's got that kind of, you know, feel to it. I'm not a huge fan of the monster form. I don't really like it. I think it's kind of weird. It's just another random insect, but I do really like the ball form, as I already mentioned. This is the other half of kind of mutant Krakenoid. So we have mutant Krowll, and of course this is one of those Bakugan that's just, like, it's impossible to find. They didn't really make the Chaos attribute for Krowll for some reason, and that also goes for the mutant one. You can find them every now and then, but they're going to be insane prices that are not worth it. So maybe in the future I will get a custom paint one myself, or, you know, get one from someone, I don't know, and get mutant Krakenoid, which is much more available. Add those to the collection, but we'll see. Right now I'm just kind of focusing pure Chaos Army because the Mechtanium Surge are already really hard to get. Another fun fact, Krowll is the only Bakugan to be used both by Team Cellon and Anubius, so I think that's cool. In terms of fighting, Krowll really does a lot of close combat with those claws, and it has some really, really cool defense abilities. Like one of the abilities, I don't remember the exact name of it, but it cancels out other abilities. So it just prevents Bakugan completely from using their abilities, which I think is super cool. So as a Chaos Bakugan, I think that's perfect. You've got close combat and then a really strong defense, which makes it perfect. I mean, if you're a Chaos Brawler, that's kind of what you want. So yeah, let's go ahead and close Krowll. It's probably one of the more complicated ones. We're going to start here with the little feet here, so gotta do those gently. Come on, there we go, nice. And then the little feet things on the side go in. This one already flopped in, and then we can actually close the bottom. So this is where Krowll gets a little complicated because we've got to get a bunch of stuff up in the head. So the first step is to get these little claws in. And mine doesn't have G power, by the way. It was just not made with G power, so I can't show that. If I do find the G power, I'll put it up on screen though. So we need to get these into the body, but we need to get them down like this. This little silver in the back needs to be down. Sorry, I know it's a little blurry. Otherwise, the rest of the head won't close. Same here, we gotta get this piece down. See, this one's trying to come up. That's down, and then we can push the head in, and then the whole body goes down, like so. And then we have these little tabs, and all you gotta do is shut those. Boom. And that is Chaos Krowll. Very, very simple once you get the hang of it. And last but not least, we have Subterra Vertexx, which is, this is another really good designed Bakugan. I really like the feel of this one. It's terrible to roll, but it does have a good feel to it. And this one is die-cast. It's pretty heavy, and it feels good in die-cast. Like, it really does feel amazing, especially to, like, play with. But again, its rolling is just not good. So let's go ahead and try and roll it. See, it's just not, it's not the best at rolling. Ah, there we go. Okay. So Vertexx has just the feet as the manual bits. You can adjust the hands if you want, a little bit like so, just to get him a little bit better. 810 Gs, if you can see there. Kind of hard. There we go, 810. Oh yeah, I forgot he's got one manual piece here. He's got a tiny little tail. Yeah, let's talk about Vertexx. So Vertexx is partners with Chris in this show. If you might remember her, she was like the kind of super bubbly animated girl in the show. And Vertex's Baku Nano is Ore Hammer, which it's almost like an anti-air gun, like an anti-air rifle in some ways. Like, it's just big and it shoots a lot of targeted missiles at the same time. And then his Mechtanium is Rock Fist. In terms of design, I really like the ball form. Like I said, it's one of the coolest ones ever to me. I really, really like how it looks, and I like how it feels. The designs on the inside are nice. In terms of, like, the show, he just doesn't look good. He looks like a weird rock frog with 4 hands. The design is not great in the show, but, you know, everything else great. I do like the one big factor I like that they gave to Vertexx, which they gave to Wilda as well, but he can actually shoot, like, lava. Like, he has, like, some abilities where, like, there's fire or, like, heated rocks and stuff alongside the other kind of typical Subterra abilities, because I always feel like Subterra gets the short end of the stick here, but at least in this case, you know, Vertexx has that, which is really nice. But yeah, that's kind of all I got to say about Vertexx. He's cool though. I really like the design. Let's go ahead and close him up. We got tail here, hands go in, or feet go in, my bad. And then for the actual body, it's kind of easy. So let me see if I can show you easy here. So head goes back, and then the body kind of goes in, and then all I do is sort of line these up. This top hand can get a little like squished, so you just got to make sure you squish it in right. If not, you can always just throw him on the card and he'll go back into monster form here. And see, like, I've already messed up the hand there. If you don't get it just right, it won't go in. So we just pop him back open and do the same thing. So that goes in. Gotta make sure we get that hand in first. Line it up. There we go. And then same thing here. Get that all closed in together. And that is Vertexx. Alrighty guys, and that is all of the Chaos Army. Again, if you'd like to see Razonoid, I will leave a link to the video down below in the description where you can check out all the main villains from the Bakugan series. But this one is specifically looking at just the Chaos Army and all that good stuff. So if you want to see that video, go check it out. But yeah, let me know down below in the comments who is your favorite Bakugan from this set. Let me know, and again, feel free to subscribe, leave a like. This video took quite a while to make, and it also took a lot of time and a lot of money to make, so any kind of support is greatly appreciated. I try and bring you guys all this Bakugan content as regularly as I can, and also kind of collect for those who cannot afford the collections themselves, so you guys can kind of live through me for the set or the collection. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to leave a like, drop a comment, and of course subscribe for more awesome content. My name is Jesse. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.